Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Podcast Assemble, the show where you come for your rambling geeky download. My name's Tommy, and I am delighted, as always, to be joined by my friend and co-host who is across the pond. It's our resident 18th century British peasant of the pod, DL. How are you, DL?
Dude, I am pale enough to not be a peasant right now. I should be
in Britain.
I'm landed gentry at this point. You know, I'm not
in Britain.
Fields.
You're going to be pasty if you're out there. If you're living on the street edge, I mean, like this film we're talking about today, Wuthering Heights, is possibly the wettest film I've ever watched. Like, there is not a single scene where people are not soaking wet in this film at all times.
There's a lot of angry weather. Yeah, a lot of angry weather.
We talked about it last podcast when we talked about Marty Supreme. Wait, did we talk about Marty Supreme? We were talking about something, and we were talking about how accurate it is that it is wet all the time. And I was like, that's this film. That's the Wuthering Heights. Wuthering
Heights. I was in. I went to Six Nations 2 weeks ago. Ireland versus England, and we like finished it and went to a pub, and the pub was like packed, but there was still like a Wales game on that was going down to the wire. So we were all outside drinking Guinness in the rain outside the pub because
of course you were,
because like there, you know, it was so packed inside watching the game on a little phone in the rain, and it was just like the most British thing I'd ever seen. Like we're just sitting wet watching Wales beat someone.
Just being happy in the rain. I mean, that's just standard Britain for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know about happy, but definitely okay with it.
Were you singing in the rain, DL? Is that what you were doing? Were you singing in the rain? No, mate, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm good, man. A lot going on, but you know.
How's that peasant life?
The plebe life? Well, it's funny how you should say that because I have a bone to pick with Qantas. I did all British Airways flights so that I would maintain my Qantas status. Like, even though, you know, basically like they're more expensive, et cetera, et cetera. I maintain my gold, and Qantas says, actually, you can't keep your gold because you didn't fly a single Qantas flight. You flew only like airline share codes. So I'm like super angry. And now I'm like debating, do I have to like go be a peasant on another airline? Like they've downgraded me 3 levels. Do I go back to like, do I take my mediocre status, or do I go be a plebe on United Airlines for the next year to match?
Is it worth cutting off your nose to spite your face? Like, is it really worth that? I don't think it is. But also for a peasant, that's a very middle class problem.
True. I meant plebe by airline status.
By airline, mate, I'm the lowest of the low on those statuses. I don't fly anywhere near enough. Our work is just not like, we don't fly that much anymore. And I literally went the other day and I was like, oh, I wonder how many points I've got. And I was like, it was
4,
a minuscule amount points compared to what. Yeah. I was literally like, all these flights I've done over the last few years. It was like, you have no fucking points, no chance of being silver.
How do you even get 4 points? That's too low to even get.
I just have a credit card that I get points with, and it's the worst credit card, and I have no idea why I keep it. But like, I've got friends who are really good at that stuff, and they like, you know, they change their credit card every 6 months to get the new points or the new thing, and I'm just like, that sounds like a lot of work.
It is, but I kind of do it. It's kind of worth it at times.
Of course,
if you travel as much as I do, it's worth it.
True. You have a wife who forces you to travel all the time.
Yeah, true. Well, forces. I agree.
Well, little column A, little column B.
Where's the line? Anyway, it's enough about credit cards.
But you've got one that you've had forever.
Yeah, it's the best. I'm not going to plug them until they sponsor, but it's also the US. The US has the best credit cards. So like, I just have one.
We need a sponsor for the show, I think.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah, Motorino maybe.
Oh, I would totally go Bondi brand. They're fabulous. I love them a lot. I think I have 4 of these hats now. I nearly wore a different one.
You have 4 hats of the same one.
So let me preface this, right. I love hats, but I hate how they fit my head. I never find hats and go, that looks good.
That's tragic.
Isn't it the worst? Especially when you have a forehead like this. A good brim on a hat is a good thing. So when I found this hat, I was like, holy shit, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. It fits. It's cool. It looks like an old smoking brand. What else could a man want? So I'd actually bought this one, and a friend of mine had bought me one as well. random mix up. But so I had two of them, and I was like, you know what? At some point, I'm going to want to wear this to the beach, and it's going to get sweaty, and it's going to get very, that weird like sweat line you get across the front of it. So I was like,
no, I never had that. Never had that.
Fuck you. I was like, I'm going to future proof myself here. So I bought two more, and I just take such good care of them. I don't ever I'm never going to wear the other ones because I just love them so much. It's a very good brand. Motorino, if you guys want to buy one, go online and plug us so we can, maybe they could sponsor us or just be generally part of the show. We like you, Motorino. I do anyway. Have I talked about middle class white things way too much at this point?
I think this has been a tough start for us in terms of our empathy with the lower of socioeconomic status.
Absolutely, but I'm good. Thanks for asking, by the way. Just guys, quick shout out to all of our new and old listeners. We really appreciate you, and we just want to say thank you because you guys are great. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. And if you know anyone who likes this nerdy nonsense, as I know you all do, everybody knows someone who wants a new podcast in their life. There aren't enough white people doing podcasts. You can pass it. You can pass the pod. That's what we'd love. Give the gift of Podcast Assemble for Christmas. And thanks to Ava for the time codes for today's episode. You can find our fantastic new editor at www.avaramshaw.com. Go check her out. If you're starting a podcast, if you want to do new things, check out how good this looks. Check out how good we sound. This isn't us. We sound like shit. This is all Ava. So, give us that 5-star review, like and subscribe, all the things while you're down there. Back to the nerdy nonsense, DL. What have you been up to?
Dude, I've actually, for some reason, decided to rewatch the last two Hobbits, or the first two Hobbits, because it was on Sky.
Why?
I put them on the back because
you?
I think we had that chat about it, and I was like, I wonder how bad these actually are.
I hate those films. They're just depressing.
You haven't seen them, you said.
Okay, all right. Well, let me preface this. Okay, we were talking about this. I was talking about this with a friend of the show just the other day
as well.
And last week, and we were talking about scenes where actors have things go wrong, or there's a break.
Yeah.
There is a beautiful scene you can find. Sorry, a beautiful clip you can find online of Sir Ian McKellen, one of the greatest actors of our time. He's Magneto, he's Gandalf, he's a fabulous man. And one of the first actors to come out as gay in a time where it really was not frowned upon, but it really wasn't the done thing. Good on you, mate. Breaking down on set because he has to do it in front of a green screen talking to a tennis ball. Exactly what you want from your movie. Breaking one of the best actors of all time. Good on you, Hobbits.
I've definitely heard that. But it's still, it's got its moments. It's not like the first two are not completely garbage. They're mostly garbage, but not completely. It's like a 50. It's like the first one's like a 60, like a 65-35. The second one's like a strong 50-50. And then the last one, I don't think I watched it on a plane once and I fell asleep. I don't think it was pretty bad if I remember correctly.
That's right up your alley, falling asleep watching something.
Yeah. But anyway, I did that because I wanted something that I didn't have to think too much about while I was doing some work on in the background, and watch those. So, can't say I recommend them, but there's moments. I started book 3 of Wheel of Time. Too early to tell. I'm only 40 pages in, but I'll let you know. Keep tabs on that. You never
told us about book 2. How did you go with book 2? What was the consensus?
Book 2 is cool, man. They're both. It was different. It's really big and slow. It's more like
really big and really slow.
Yeah, if you like Lord of the Rings, you'll like this. If you like Sanderson, you'll probably like this. If you're like more of a Rising guy, it's way different. It's not of that ilk of like fantasy sci-fi. It's a slower. It's more like a describe the people, describe the places, lots of dreams, that kind of fantasy. I enjoy it. Yeah.
So 2 in. What's the crux of the overarching story to this point, or have they been sort of just individual stories?
It's a pretty hard thing to summarize because they're so dense. But there's the classic hero's tale of like a group of people that have been thrust into like this big conflict bigger than themselves that they are central to due to some prophecy. We talked
about this. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes on, was it Amazon it was on?
Yeah, I never watched it because I heard it was so bad.
And it was garbage.
Yeah. But I've heard, but anyway, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings if you had 3 characters that were
Mm.
all kind of involved in like three Aragorn style. You have a hero's journey, Frodo style hero's journey, and it's almost like if instead of like it seems clear that like Robert Jordan was like trying to push the narrative of like, hey, what if the hero just actually was like, fuck this, no, I don't want it, I don't want it, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it,
Isn't that what
right? Like,
Aragorn did? He was like, no, I don't want it. I don't
yeah,
want to be king.
yeah,
She is my queen.
but we're in book 3 now, and they're still saying it. Like they're still kind of debating.
Yeah, Jon
Yeah.
Snow held out. He was right to the end.
Well, but no, the difference is Jon Snow like showed up and did hero things,
Fair.
but just didn't want to be king. These guys are like, I just want to go back to my farm and sheep, like, and herd sheep. Like, and it's like, it's book 3. I'm like, dude, there are Trollocs trying to kill you. I don't think you have a choice at this point. Like,
just come on, get in there already.
Like I'm
Get in the
2,000
ring, big
pages
guy.
in. Yeah, like it's time to accept that you have to do some shit.
I'll tell you what's funny. When you said it was a mix of like, what did you say, Frodo and Aragorn? Is that what you said? I was trying to think of how their accents would go together. I was like, I literally
Yeah.
can't even. It's like, you bow to no one, Mr. Sam.
No, they're just like farm boys that are now being thrust into. And there's some cool shit. Don't get me wrong. I like it.
Yeah, right.
It's just clearly in the vein of like Lord of the Rings, but a bit more modernized, and but still very 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 high fantasy. Like,
yeah, right.
Not like more gritty.
Okay, interesting. But you recommend if you have time and the energy and the
Look, if you like, yeah. I guess my point is, I got into fantasy late. Like these are all like the tenets of like foundations of fantasy you're supposed to read. George R. Martin got me into fantasy, and so I feel like because I never read all these, I have to go get the foundations and understand it, and like try and understand the tropes and where they came from. And so if you're into that,
is that for just your own? Is that just for your own enjoyment, or is it for your book creation?
it's both. It's both. Yeah, it's both. Yeah, okay. I do enjoy them.
Oh yeah, cool, good. I think I've told you this before. I'm currently reading one of my dad's favorite books, a Wizard of the Earthsea, which is like it's one of the founding. It effectively built a bunch of the tropes for sort of like fantasy books. It's fantastic. It's really interesting. I just haven't had a lot of time to read it recently. Very much in a similar vein. It's written really interestingly. It's quite hard. Obviously, it's quite an old book. Like I put it up on screen now. I can't remember what year it was written in, but it's old, and it's quite interesting how challenging it is to get into. For such a small book, it's a small book, but it's written really fast, but doesn't go anywhere very quickly. It's super interesting. I'm keen to get into it, but like I don't know if I'm going to get around to the Wheel of Time books. I feel like there's only so many days in your life. I don't know if I'm there yet.
They are like called one of the top 3 fantasy series ever. So if you're into fantasy,
Sick.
like in like the long form, like you got to kind of do it, I think.
Yeah, you got to put the time in. How many? It's like 20 books or something.
Yes, not quite, but close. So there's like 14 or something crazy.
I mean, that's still a lot of fucking books. That length as well. Jesus,
it's gonna be a long journey for me. And then I guess the last thing, a quick plug, is the 4 Seasons on Netflix. I watched that. I don't know if you've seen it.
Okay. No, what's that about?
It's just like about these like married and like post-married couples, and it's like 8 episodes, 2 episodes per season of the year, and it follows this like group of friends who are all married. It's like Steve Carell, Tina Fey. It's really good. It's really good for people at our point in life. I think it's a fun thing to watch. Me and my partner.
Our point in life. Are you putting us in the same bracket? Is that what you're doing?
Well, close enough. I mean,
stage of life. Let's say stage of life. Yeah. Cool, man.
I would recommend. Yeah,
right.
It's a bunch of good actors. Really fun, easy. Yeah.
Nice. I haven't. I think the partner watched it a little while ago. I haven't got around to it yet. I've seen it and been a few times and a bit like that is either going to be really depressing or really uplifting, or somewhere in the middle.
It's
so
both.
I'm wondering. Yeah,
it's both.
Yeah. So it's the shrinking thing, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. I like that. But that's good writing to me, and that is a perfect segue into one of the things I've done actually just last night we just watched it. So you may or may not know that Scrubs is having a revival. Now I need to preface this. So I was obsessed with Scrubs as a,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, young adult, let's say 18 to 21. Like obsessed. I'd seen all of them 100 times, watched them over and over again on repeat. Love that show. There was something about a drama with comedic elements that just hooked me, and I think that's why I like things like Shrinking, for example. It's even the same bloody writer, so I obsessed with it. It fell off a cliff towards the end. Honestly, like I didn't love the ending. The final episode of the show I loved, but everything building up to that, and I know there was writer strikes and there was problems and etc. However, they've just released the first 2 episodes of a brand new season. I was so fucking skeptical. I was almost like, I'm just not going to watch this. Like I saw the trailers
with the same actors.
Yeah, so the original cast has come back. So
Not that
I'll tell you
reboot thing they did.
No. So they've skipped that. That's completely like not part of it anymore. So the preface of this new version is, and it happens very early on in the first episode, so I'm not really spoiling anything, is that JD is no longer working at Sacred Heart. So the main character, Zach Braff, he's doing like he's effectively like a call out doctor for rich people. He's doing this. It's good money. He's not really like, he's not really enjoying it. He's not really getting anything out of it. He gets called back into Sacred Heart to see one of his patients who's been taken in there for whatever reason. He basically gets coerced by his old mentor, Dr. Cox, to become the new chief of medicine. And it's the flip of like the original series where, of course, he was the newbie in the original series, and now he is the oldie. So he's the chief of medicine. He has to make all these hard decisions that he couldn't see the other side of previously. And I came into this being really skeptical. So what happened to what? So
that's a good premise, though.
But I didn't know that premise isn't made very clear in the trailers. So in the trailers, it's just a bunch of nonsense. They're just doing silly stuff like they used to. Yeah. And I think I've talked about this in a YouTube video before. Back in the day, Scrubs had this moment in time where it went from being a drama with a comedic elements, and I'm sure I've talked about this in the pod before, to being a comedy with dramatic elements. And they are very different TV shows, and it's a grey line when it happens, but it's probably around the end of season 4ish. And to me, that change, it meant that the show lent more into the silliness, and a lot of people like that, and that's totally fine. But it didn't work for me because I was there because it was at its core, it was a hospital drama, and people always talk about how great it is, a hospital drama. But it has the silly elements that bring you into their worlds and make you feel like they're real people. So anyway, I fell off the end of it, and like it was, as much as I watched it, I still didn't love those final seasons.
Yeah,
and I was worried it was just going to be more of that. I worried they were just going to pick that up and just carry on with it because that was what they did and that was where it was, and it isn't. It's from 2 episodes. I'm sweeping generalizing here. I'm incredibly happy with what I watched for the first 2 episodes. I was like, this is what I remember as a kid. Like this was my nostalgia getting like amped up to 10. I was like, or 11. I was like, this is great. Genuinely, I had a fantastic time with it. It's on Disney, I think.
Is anybody else in it?
Yeah, so Zach Braff's in it. Donald Faison's in it. So Turk's in it. Elliot's in it, whose name's Sarah Chalk, I think. Carla is in it, whose name I cannot remember. Dr. Cox is in the first episode. I don't know if he's a recurring character at this point. He's only been in the first episode, so only 2 episodes are out at the moment.
Okay.
So I know.
So that's like the big 4.
Well, the janitor hasn't been in it yet, who is the guy whose name, God, the name escapes me, but he's obviously in Malcolm in the Middle? No. What's the other thing?
He's in a bunch of stuff.
He's in a bunch of stuff. He's in The Fugitive. Yeah. So like there are like the Todd is in it, for example. Like there are a number of characters, but the premise I think is genuinely really interesting in that it's flipped. So if did you watch any of Scrubs growing up?
Yeah, I wasn't like a fanatic, but whenever it was on, I loved it. I didn't go like week to week kind of thing, but more like reruns. Yeah. And I definitely know what you mean. Like the earlier episodes, I remember being like more about the relationships and the people meeting each other.
Yeah.
And then I think anytime you get to like season 5, 6, 7, like you have like those things can't be the driver anymore because it's a sitcom. It has to be a bit more about like the almost the Seinfeld of it all. The show about nothing where you're just doing comedy. So I do remember that shift as well. Yeah.
In the original series is JD's mentor, Dr. Cox, who's great. if you watch it with a 2026 perspective, you could see it's been quite problematic. And I'm saying that as someone who grew up with this and loved it, right? So like he would make fun of JD, the main character. He would insinuate lots of things about him, like he insinuate he's gay and all this stuff, and which, you know, in 2001 you could probably get away with, but in 2026 it's not safe. The premise is effectively that he is now a dinosaur. His way of teaching the new generation of interns, the scrubs, is that it doesn't work anymore, and he is passing the baton on to JD, who has always been more in touch with his, you know, his feelings, his understanding of other people, which makes total sense. And I genuinely really like that as a twist, but it's now about him having to make the hard decisions that he just watched other people make and, you know, felt, you know, hard done by or whatever. So like, I like it. 2 episodes in, man, like it's bringing back a lot of nostalgia and I'm having a great time.
That's awesome, man. I will consider it. It's on Disney.
Great. Yeah, good. A little 18-year-old Tommy is running around being like, fuck yeah. I still have my best friend from uni on my phone as Super Chocolate Bear, which is what he called Turk for the whole show. Like it'll never change. He's always going to be on my phone. So I genuinely highly recommend new spin on the old formula.
I know I told you this in the past. I don't know if I said it on the pod, that I was at a Dodger game once and I got like really, really good tickets.
Yes.
Given to me by someone. and I just happened to like go down and I was like holding 4 beers, coming back to my dad and my cousin and just like look, like trying not to spill them. I just look up and it's fucking, what's his name? I don't know his real. I still
Donald Faison.
Yeah, it's Donald Faison. And I'm just like, Turk. And he just looked at me just like, yeah, okay, dude.
Cool, man. Cool.
Probably gets it every fucking day at 10 times. Probably happened 10 minutes before.
I'm surprised you didn't shout Eagle at him. Like, Eagle! He would have...
That would have been better. That would have been so much better.
Fucking killed you. He'd have, like, knocked you backwards off the thing. It would have been great.
I should have done it.
I mean, poor guy. He must get that. I mean, like... the thing I was really worried about the show is that I don't know if you know anything. So have followed Zach Braff on social media previously. I don't know why it annoys me at this point. He is so he like you could tell he's been waiting for this. Like this is the thing he's been waiting for. Like I feel like he did other things. He tried movies. He's tried other TV shows,
and he's been good in some.
I'm not like I love Garden State. I think it's great. Last Kiss is good, even though it didn't get, you know, fantastic reviews. Like I think he's a good actor. I don't think it worked for him in Hollywood. He's done a bunch of directing and stuff. So cool, like that's amazing. But I just feel like you know everything's about nostalgia now. Everything's about rebootuations and bringing old, you know, things back that people love. I think he's been waiting out for this. I mean, they did a fucking podcast for the last like 3 or 4 years. Yeah, something like Fake Doctors, Real Friends. I'm like, guys, like. You couldn't be more horny for this. It's hard when like you have been that some people will never get past. He hit his peak at like 21. Yeah, exactly.
Like that's just gonna always be his character, and so it's probably hard to like get past that.
I know, and Garden State's great. We should talk about that sometime. That's a good film. Yeah, really interesting. Like I like what they did with that one. Look, highly recommend. Go check it out. Like it's genuinely. Like it's worth it if you have any fond memories of Scrubs. The other thing I did, which I'll quickly touch on very quickly, I talked about Scrubs for way too long. I knew that was going to happen. The minute I opened my mouth, I was like, I'm gonna not shut up about this fucking show. The other one I watched was Wonder Man, which is the new Marvel sort of MCU film. Like it's got ties to the MCU, but not necessarily being. It's part of the. I think it's called Spotlight, which is the separate studio that brings out sort of unique TV shows. They did, what was the Halloween one we talked about? Beast Man or something? That's really bad. I can't remember what it's called. Wolfman. Was it Wolfman?
Maybe.
Whatever it was.
Werewolf that in the Midnight or something? I don't remember.
I can't remember. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. We talked about it in the pocket. Go back and check out our audio episode. It's on there. It's that Spotlight. And it is Yahya Abdul Mateen II, who was in Aquaman. He was in the Watchmen TV show. I remember really enjoying the Watchmen TV show, by the way. Ben Kingsley is back as Trevor Slattery. Look, I'm going to be quick about this. It was good. I genuinely really enjoyed it. It's different perspective on that world. It doesn't necessarily, like, you don't have to know too much about the rest of the MCU. If you've seen maybe Iron Man 2, you should be fine. Like, It's good. It's enjoyable. It's a different perspective. It's about focused on. Think about like The Studio. Like, did you see the TV show The Studio
No.
with who's the guy from Pineapple Express? Name's gone from my brain.
Danny McBride.
No, the main one. God,
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
It's a bit like The Studio, except it's about a struggling actor who has like superpowers, but in that world, if you have superpowers, you are banned from being an actor. It's a really interesting concept. He just wants to become
Obscure.
So obscure, and like it's like almost like self-referential. He wants to play this character who is effectively, I don't know, like he's like Captain America. He's like a Power Ranger. But it's the character he grew up with and he loved as a kid. He wants to play that role, and he really, like, genuinely a nice, interesting, different perspective on people in that world doing real things. And it's not like too connected to the MCU. It's not. Yeah, there's a couple of things you might want to watch, like I say, but like it's good. It's genuinely really good. And Yahya Abdul-Mateen is the second. Fantastic. Love him. He's genuinely a really good actor. Do you remember watching the Watchmen show? Where it was
he was the main purple guy or whatever.
He was the big blue dick guy.
Blue
yeah,
guy?
he was that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Big blue dick.
was a
Mr.
good show.
Manhattan. Dr. Manhattan. And he's so good in that. Because I remember he, like, spoilers for that show that came out 5 years ago. Do you remember he was playing just himself as a human character, and he got amnesia and forgotten that he was the most powerful being in the entire universe?
Yeah.
So interesting.
And his wife didn't know either. Right.
No, I think his wife knew, but she was keeping it from it. I can't remember, something like that. Really good. Like, he's good. He's great in this. Ben Kingsley is a like traveled actor. I don't understand why he does the accent he does in these films. It annoys me every second he's on screen, and he does a lot of talking in this show, like a lot.
Yeah.
But looking past that, good. Liked it a lot. Recommend if you interested to keep up with that stuff. Yeah, guys, hit us up. If there's anything you recommend we talk about, let us know. You can find us at Podcast Assemble or thepodcastassemble@gmail.com. We're everywhere. We also have a website, www.podcastassemble.com. Our details are there. You can send us contacts, send us things. I keep getting these weird clearly spam emails from the website, which is like just all in Russian. And I'm like, this is terrifying. I do not want to open this email, but it's nice when you guys send us stuff to talk about. We always call you out. DL, do you want to preface our main topic this week?
It's the main topic theme.
Yeah, this week we are doing Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering.
Yeah, if you aren't familiar with it, it is basically it's the only novel written by Emily Bronte.
Oh, I thought it was written by Bronte Beach. Fuck.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Australia,
I feel
inside
like such
joke.
an idiot. Oh. I was going to go Brontosaurus originally, but that joke got taken on my other favorite podcast. So I was like, damn it.
Oh, well. Brontosaurus. Yeah. Emily Brontosaurus. That's nice of you.
Brontosaurus.
It's considered one of the major kind of works of English literature. To be, an 18th century or 19th century novelist and just write one and be famous.
Forever. But also probably not be rich. Probably just die poor like everyone else.
Yeah, I guess you would. I guess you would be poor. But I guess that's also, still the case. So for most writers, first published, just a little history lesson, under a male pen name.
I was gonna say, I in those times, like, women struggle to get books published. I'm surprised her name is up in lights.
Yeah, it was I forget the name of the male pen writer, but originally it was a male name, and part of that was, I think,
Heathcliff.
What you were talking, good old Heathcliff. Part of that, I think, is what you're talking about with how there wasn't a lot of women writers getting published, but part of it was also, I think, the content and like the idea of it coming from a woman at that time. There's been a ton of adaptions of this. I think there's been 3 movie adaptions.
20. No, there are so many. If you just Google it, they just fly up.
The most recent one was like in 2011, kind of directed by Andrea Arnold, and then there was an ITV adaptation in the UK that Tom Hardy was Heathcliff. So I'm like intrigued to see
Right.
if that was any good.
No, they all seem pretty heralded. Like they all seem to get similar-ish reviews, and which is good. And we will talk about this firstly non-spoilers, and then we will go into spoilers. Before we do, though, do you have a stupid plot summary for this?
Yeah, of course I do. Two toxic soulmates discover they're perfect for each other and absolutely catastrophic for everyone else.
I literally couldn't have said it better myself. Like, that's perfect. I love that. I mean, mine is very similar. It's just awful, awful people being awful people in the rain. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
I can't think of, like, what else is this movie?
I was just going to say, I was going to actually, one of my other plot summaries is going to be moist, and you read into that what you will. Go watch the trailer.
It, but I love
There's
it
a couple different ways you could take that.
I hate it, but I love it all at once. That's so good. That's the best one. Just put a pin in that. Period. I love that. Period. Oh God. This is from Emerald Fennell, who I know from doing Saltburn. I haven't actually seen any of her other movies, but I did see that one. Yay for me, because the partner made me watch it. I don't know. Have you seen any of her other films?
No, but I've heard about this one, and I saw like a whole like Instagram reel of how Jacob Elordi is so into himself. He's like, after Saltburn, he said, I found the reaction quite prudish. It's like, what, dude? There's like somebody like, pretty sure there's somebody that like fucks a grave, dude. Prudish?
We're gonna talk about it while we talk about this film. I'll tell you now.
What bubble are you in? Like, anyway,
it's fucking it's she's chosen some interesting interesting ways to express her creativity. This movie has, as you probably know from the trailers, Margot Robbie, has Jacob Elordi, two Aussies playing English people. Just going to say that. It has Hong Chow, who's Nelly, who is actually great in this. Sazad Latif, who's Edgar. If you don't know who Edgar is, if you don't know who Sazad Latif is, have you ever seen The Toast of London?
No.
It's a fantastic show. If you haven't watched it, please go check it out. But like, this guy plays a character called Clem Fandango. Mate, I can't even. It's one of the funniest like just running bits in a TV show. He's just like, it's me, Clem Fandango. Oh, you have to understand. It's fantastic. Can you hear me? It's just amazing. I also wanted to call out Alison Oliver, who we're going to talk about, who is Edgar's ward. That's really hard to say. What a performance. Just like top tier. Martin Clunes, great in this too. I actually thought the young actors were good in this as well. I don't know. That's not something I say regularly. All the young kids were very good. We'll probably talk about it as we talk about the plot of the film, what was the plot of the film, DL? What happened? What went on?
I mean, it's kind of a trope, but maybe this is partly why it's a trope. This is how successful this like novel and its adaptations have been. But it follows this family who's gone into ruin, like a traditionally noble family.
Can I ask a question to start? Yeah. So like at the beginning of so right, and this might just be I haven't read these books. We'll talk about it in a second. Do they start in ruin, or do they start still somewhat wealthy and then they just go into ruin?
It's clear that look, I also haven't read the book, but I think it's clear that it gets worse, right? Like,
yes,
it's clear that like maybe they're not starting in ruin, but they're in a precarious spot, right? Because got it. They don't have a ton of help. They're not
a
this
once
other
wealthy
guy
family.
A once wealthy family that is like kind of falling on hard times, and it's getting worse. They're not in ruin yet, but like, because I think you can kind of track that by tracking like how the house, the Wuthering Heights, looks at the start. It's not fully dilapidated at the start. It seems normal, just not a bit gloomy. And then also Mr. Earnshaw, Martin Clunes' character, like his devolve state, and he becomes more and more just scraggly and disheveled. That's the word I was looking for. And I think that's kind of meant to help you track it. But you follow this family. Yeah, you follow this family. You follow this guy who's basically got this, bright, beautiful, cute daughter, the help, Nellie, and this big estate. And he is clearly not a good guy. You don't get all the details, but he basically at the start of the film steals a kid, which is Heathcliff. The other, I don't really know how the details are hazy.
And he just happens to be under his bed. Is that weird?
Yeah. I mean, like, there are some implications.
What are we doing here?
I think there's some implications. I kind of want to get your read on this
because of the implications.
He's clearly a drunk. He's clearly a gambler, and he clearly makes rash decisions. And he goes into town with his horse, comes back ragingly drunk. You can't really tell at the beginning why everyone's so afraid, but it's definitely confirmed that he's physically abusive to the kids. And I would even argue there's a bit of a implication that he's more than that.
I would too.
You don't see it on the screen, but it's implied, I think.
As a person who hasn't read the books or know much more other than that, that was very much signaled in this book, I would say. If not just to Heathcliff, to the others as well.
Yes, definitely to the Heathcliff and the daughter. But so the point being, they have this shared trauma, but she, it's her dad. She's never met her mom, Margot Robbie's character.
And he just stole a child.
Yeah, and she loves him despite it, and because that's kind of there's a lot to go into there. But he steals a child, and they have shared trauma, and so we follow this group of a noble lady in the house falling on hard times, growing up with this kind of peasant boy who's been stolen / adopted, who becomes the help of the estate,
who sounds northern all the time.
Yeah, proper Yorkshire. I mean, it's set in the Yorkshire
proper
Moors,
Yorkshire.
So. And that's the story we get, and it kind of evolves from there without spoiling things. There's some love gained, some love lost, some choices made, and you follow them as they grow up in that area.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting the dynamics between the two of them, because I mean, Kathy believes that her family are for a lot of the film believes that they're incredibly wealthy, if not only in love, in terms of money as well. And it's an interesting dynamic between her and the boy who's been bought for her effectively as a friend. And there's loads of other interesting dynamics in the film. I think the interesting thing from my perspective is trying not to compare this to the likes of Emerald Fennell's other films, specifically Saltburn, which I talked about. And I think one of the things that kind of... Okay, I'm good. What did you think of the film? High level. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? What was your...
So I really enjoyed this film. And I'm not sure if it was because I was in like a tragic, mopey mood, or because I really liked the trappings of it.
Sure.
I just do really like a tragedy. Like, I think a tragic story is like the best story. And it doesn't always have to be tragedy as depressing as this. Like, you could even call A Night of the Seven Kingdoms tragic, right? The way it ends.
With a giant dick.
Yeah, it's a tragedy. Why do they make it so big?
Know. It's literally the size of my water bottle.
Were they implying that like he has some kind of disease? Were they implying that he had syphilis and that's how he died? Because he was whoring. He was whoring.
Very possibly.
They were explicit in the fact that Sir Arthur Pennyworth loved a whore.
He did love a whore.
Yeah, I love a tragedy. But this is a tragedy grounded in like kind of bad decisions, and it's not really It's not really uplifting, right? And so there's like kind of two types of like the bittersweet tragedy and like the really, really sad and dark ones. And this airs on the side of the latter. So I enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the style of it. Like, I felt like I was transported into a world, like. And when you have a tropey, a show that or a movie that's talking, classic rom-com on a Valentine's Day release, like, you're expecting certain things, and this is more on the echelon of not in terms of like feelings, but in terms of quality of that kind of story in The Notebook. Then I'd say it is something else, which is it's well thought out, it's stylish, you feel in the world, and you. Even though these characters are making bad decisions, like, I don't know, for me, and I don't think so was Marty Supreme, which is why it's an interesting comparison.
Agreed.
Even though they're making these decisions, because I don't know if you felt this way, because from our initial conversations, it sounds like you feel a bit different, but because of the way they set up the shared trauma, and Heathcliff, we didn't really talk about it because I don't think it's a spoiler, basically taking that on. for this poor girl. As like he basically decided, I'm no longer going to let you take this abuse. I will be the one that takes it, and he protects her through that. I was grounded in them as characters because I empathize with them. They were flawed people because of their flawed upbringing.
I agree with almost all the things you say there. Completely right. I think I had a couple of like challenges with this movie. Right, all those things absolutely. Like it's fantastic. Like it's beautiful aesthetically. It pops. It's different. It takes quite classic themes and gives them a bit of a twist. The problem I had was that this was marketed as if it was going to be and reviewed, like frankly, as if it's the horniest, raunchiest, most outlandish, most creatively diverse film that you're ever going to see in your entire life. It's going to blow your freaking mind. And I can't help but compare it to the likes of Saltburn or, like other things that, do similar tropes or have, good love stories. And frankly, it's not any of those things. It didn't blow my mind. It isn't that horny. Like it's a bit horny. It's not like there's not.
Are you saying you wanted more sex in the film?
100% I wanted more sex. I was sold on the fact this was going to be horny with Margot Robbie. And I did not get as much of that as anyone could. Look,
I don't know, man.
Saltburn,
she's like fingering herself, and he like grabs her hand and smells it and licks it. Like that's the start of their like sexual relationship.
It's a little horny. It's just not as horny. It's just not as horny as they've made it out to be. Look,
for Victorian age,
not like
that's pretty
right. Okay. Yeah. In that respect, sure. Saltburn, you said it before. He literally fucks a grave. It's not that. It is not going to shock you. It's not that wild. There's a bit of horniness. You're right. There absolutely is. But it's not.
There's some weird stuff towards the end, too.
Right. It's not blowing your mind. Thing. And, like we joked the other week about this being we used anxiety trilogy. It's probably more the uncomfortable movie trilogy because, like, it's an uncomfortable movie to watch, much like Begonia, much like Master Supreme. And they all have slightly different ways of, I don't know, showcasing that. And one of the ways they could showcase this that they didn't would be if they were to change all the characters into Muppets and keep one as a human. I just wonder from you, which one should they keep as a human?
I never am ready for this question.
I think there's a lot of good examples here. I genuinely think the funniest one would have been Edgar, who is the rich husband of Kathy. Like, imagine all this absolutely batshit stuff happening around you.
He's just
you're
like
just a
this
rich
elegant,
aristocrat, super pompous, just like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, what on earth is happening here, Catherine?
Yeah.
That would be, or the flip side of that, to get the juxtaposed version of that, would be her dad, who Mr. Wuthering Heights himself, Mr. Earnshaw, Martin Clunes.
Yeah, I was thinking like a drunk pit. Like, yeah, I was thinking that. But also, like,
hilarious.
You're kind of limited in your choices here because, like, if you pick either of the main characters, there's a lot of Muppet on human sex, which is just a bit weird.
Saying that though, weird. that would be certainly a wild watch. That would literally hit all of the benchmarks that I was given in the reviews for this film.
It could definitely be
just
different.
Sucking Miss Piggy's fingers after she's been
I'm just not sure I'm gonna have my name on that kind of take. So I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna sit here and just say Martin Clunes should stay.
I think Martin Clunes is a great one. I'd love to see that film. Would be very funny. I'm not gonna lie to you. That would be great. Question. Sorry, and you talked about it briefly. Then did you read the book for this? Have you read in high school or in your personal time?
I'd never even heard of it, to be honest.
Oh, really? Okay.
We have different.
Good.
We have different 8th grade literature lists in America than I think. Yeah, than I think.
Interesting you say that. It was one of my American friends who said they'd read it in school.
Oh well.
That's why I found it so interesting. So I was like, oh, maybe you have. So I guess you can't give a whether you would like the book or not. The interesting thing about that is, and I think one of the reasons why many people were angry, upset, definitely fans had backlash towards this film, was it doesn't tell the full story. So, and apparently this is a theme.
Adaptation,
so
book adaptation.
You mentioned there are many other adaptations of this film.
Yeah.
They apparently a lot of them have a similar end point, which is we'll talk about when we get to spoilers, but it is not the end of the book, and I find that very interesting. There's a lot more to the book apparently. We'll talk about it when we get to spoilers, but I think at the core, they've condensed it down to the love story in strong quotation marks. Which, by the way, the movie is Wuthering Heights. I was doing this when we were starting to, because it is very much the director's own purview of this book, her memory of the book. It's her stylistic version of the book. But it is very much, at the core, it's a love story between two different classes of people, right? Like it is very much that. And everybody is also awful in this film. I hated everybody in this. No, other than Edgar. Edgar was just a beautiful being. Everyone else, fuck everyone else. They were all the worst. And I think that's what made me the most uncomfortable, just how awful they all were to each other all the time.
Yeah, I guess like the thing about everyone else that made it easier to watch for me is, and then say like a Marty Supreme and like the how bad he could be as a person, is that there was empathy in like all of their intentions. Like every single person's intention. Yeah, except for
in this movie.
I would argue that there was empathy in all their, like, meaning like I could find empathy in all their positions, like minus Heathcliff towards the end.
Yeah, and what about Kathy when she's literally just torturing, what's her name, Isabella, just because she's got a minor wide on for Heathcliff.
But she's doing it from a, like, of course it's a bad thing to do, but how do you empathize with it? She literally was bonded to this human through like shared sexual and physical trauma as a child, and it's like and like basically made a decision to better her family that she deeply regrets because of social pressures. And to me, like, that is like a really, really interesting thing to like look at and investigate, and like, hey, what is the cost of that? And why, like, how do I get into the head of her being cruel? It's because she feels like the world was cruel to her. And it's such an interesting thing. Whereas I look at Marty Supreme, I'm like, you're just like fucking all over all these people solely because you never thought about anyone else, solely because of your sole ambition, not because you were thinking of other people trying to make a decision that was like good. Right.
Totally.
So, and I look at Heathcliff, same thing, and I look at the Nelly character, same thing. They all were trying to do what they thought was right.
I've got an interesting bit to talk about with that Nelly character later on. I think I'd love to circle back to her because like, there's so many layers to that character. There is one thing, and I was laughing while you say that, not because like your point was spot on, like genuinely.
Yeah.
The thing that I find most funny about that is that this absolutely fucking hideous, unlovable, untouchable wretch of a human being, Margot Robbie, can't find a suitor. She has to crawl to this guy. I'm like, fuck off, man. She's like clearly, like the best looking woman in the world. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, but it's more,
you've got to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
I don't even think it's like that. I think it's like because that family was so looked down upon because of the dad's antics and their financial state, that like no one would even consider like looking there for a suitor. And I think like the way I could suspend it is as soon as he saw her, he was smitten. Like he'd never seen her. Right. So
true. He just had to see her. Yeah, she is a 12 out of 10. Like it's just impossible thing that anyone like. And actually, that's not a terrible point. She doesn't really leave the manor. You see the Wuthering Heights manor towards like her
she's
adult
locked.
life.
No one sees her.
Perhaps perhaps she is sort of almost like locked in. Like, okay, maybe then I'm with you on that. But you're right. There's a lot of shared trauma in this. There is a lot of intentional or unintentional innuendo around the things that had happened to the kids. I think probably pretty intentional. I tell you what did work in this for me though, and you sort of touched on a little bit before, is the very unique style of the film, like stylistically in terms of aesthetics. Like the Wuthering Heights manor itself, it had this. It was like black marble almost. It was really beautiful, really interesting. Like, and it was really interesting to juxtapose that against the manor that Edgar lived in, Clem Fandango lived in. It was just so interesting, and it was really unique in terms of its perspective on some of those things.
Her room, where the color was the same in the new house, was like the same as her skin. Yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff. I feel like we should get to. There's a lot we can't really talk about without going into spoilers. So I think we should try and head there sooner rather than later.
There's a couple of bits I wanted to call out before we get there. There is some controversy around this film outside of it only doing, not the entire story from the book. So
Yeah.
the casting of Jacob Elordi, I don't know if you know about this, but it apparently sparked heated debate among fans. So in the novel, it's implied that Heathcliff is of non-English origins. So the text actually describes him as a dark-skinned gypsy at one point. Now, it's intentionally supposed to be ambiguous. It doesn't lay out anything, but part of the and look, this is from speaking to friends who like this book. I have no idea. Part of the uniqueness of the love story or the differentiator really is that it's this forbidden love. Like, not just that he is a poor boy who's
not just class.
It is it's a racial thing as well, even though it isn't necessarily spelt out in the books. I think that could have been a more interesting story. That could have been a more interesting angle. And, just casting possibly the whitest man alive, who, by the way, I found this out recently about him. He apparently had the choice growing up. He was either going to be a rugby player in Australia,
rugby,
somewhat well paid, got injured, and then became a world famous actor. Oh no, that goddamn injury! You know what I mean? Seriously. You're like, Jesus Christ, must be nice. Yeah, I mean, he grew up pretty well, to be fair. I think I would have found that more interesting to see that sort of, that love story.
Yeah, I think like there's a read on that where like you don't like, maybe the author was trying to do something that like took race out of it,
Sure.
Because if you bring race into it, it becomes like a very different thing to him. There's a lot more to investigate. Like if you're trying to do something more pointed and
like the the Black American Awards show you were talking about last week.
Correct. Correct.
Did you see the thing? Sorry, finishing a thought from our last episode. If we make this into trilogy, did you see the thing about Jim Carrey?
Yes. I'm glad we were all validated.
Wild.
Yeah, I'm glad we were validated.
So apparently, it wasn't actually him. It was
just this guy who famously does this. Apparently, for a bunch of different stuff. But also, like, what did Jim Carrey sign up for this?
Right, that's my thing. I'm like, Jim Carrey hasn't said anything about this. Could it? Like, what? Where's Jim Carrey? Is he dead?
Well, it's more like you think he would want to like have a say in if this could be done or should be done, especially because he was like speaking for him, wasn't he? He was like at an event pretending to be him.
Jim Carrey must have had something to do with it. As in, he must have had a say in this. There's absolutely zero chance he didn't, surely.
Because otherwise you'd be like sued, you'd think.
Right.
Right. I don't know. I'm no lawyer.
Yeah,
I'm no lawyer. Yeah.
Me neither. But sorry, fulfilling that circle from last episode. Apparently Jim Carrey hasn't been assimilated. Quickly then, talking about the world building, there are two things. A really interesting bit of this is that is effectively really only set across the two locations. I quite like that about this. It made them feel intimate, and you felt the differences in the two houses. So obviously it was in Wuthering Heights Manor and whatever the Edgar's Manor's called. I should know this. I don't. But I feel like it just being set in those two locations made it feel... It made you really feel how grimy Wuthering Heights became as it got more and more run down, even though it was this beautiful, unique building, fantastic. And it was... I felt like it only rained at Wuthering Heights. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though it was just across the moor.
It's true. And it was like... It made the film feel really focused. The only time you're outside of that is at the start, where it sets the tone with like a guy getting hung and getting a hard on, which is like kind of like when I saw that, I was like, whoa, this is gonna be a weird movie. Like that's their opening salvo. It's like where you're like eroticism can maybe lead to death, or death are intertwined, or maybe it's like unhealthy. Like, there's like some kind of love that can be so tragic it kills you, kind of like that kind of shit. Like, woo, it was like it was a pretty big opener.
Big moment, and it was, again, uncomfortable. Hard start to the film.
Big moment.
Big moment. Some really big calls out from the performances. Alison Oliver, I mentioned before as Isabella. She is the ward to Edgar. What a performance. Like, she's weird. She's kooky. She's just like, eventually she's assimilated by Heathcliff. Like, just a and how she plays off against Kathy and how that relationship evolves. Really
Yeah.
great. Nelly, Hong Chow, mate, loved Edgar. What a great performance. But finally, do you know who Martin Clunes is? Do you know that guy?
I'd never seen him before this. Like, I mean, I'd never like known him as a name, but I recognize his face. What else is he in? He's in the Lord of the Rings.
I don't think he is, but he is certainly in a TV show called Men Behaving Badly from the 90s, which
Yeah, I
is
see that.
exactly what it sounds like. It's definitely like if you've never heard of Men Behaving Badly, wouldn't worry about it. But if you're from our generation and you like weird niche British TV shows, go and check it out. One of my favorites is Red Dwarf. It's probably my favorite original sci-fi TV show. Fantastic. But yeah, Men Behaving Badly. Weird. Check it out. Tell me then, as we were talking about it a moment ago, what are your tones and themes for this? What like?
Oh, look, I mean, I think there's like clearly like a nature versus like civilization style theme. And you could push that in like what is Wuthering Heights becoming versus what the other, which we should really know the name of the other place, the nice place. Nature versus civilization, definitely like a revenge tale in some ways.
Yeah,
And there's a class and social status investigation for sure.
it's called Thrushcross Grange, which sounds painful.
Cross grains.
Yeah, also hard to
tough to say.
Grange. Hard to
Grange.
say. Yeah, it's like a tongue twister.
I can't do it. I'm going to embarrass myself.
Thrushcross Grange. If you say it with a northern accent, it's right easy. It's Thrushcross Grange. I definitely think there's something in there about the pressures of being a woman, obsession. It's very multi-layered. I'll give it that. Like that is like, and I don't know how I've come across in this. I like this film. Like I did. I just didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't blow me away how I maybe I hoped it would. I felt like this might be like save cinema. It definitely did that for me. Let's do best and three worst. Then do 3 reasons why you might want to watch Wuthering Heights, non-spoilers, and 3 reasons why you might not.
It's like stylistically beautiful. I think like the actors are very good looking. So if you're into that as like just somebody who wants to go see a romantic movie with good looking people, it definitely ticks that box.
It does.
3, I would just say I think there are some like deep like motifs and theme. Like it's that kind of movie. Like if you like want a dense thing that's not like dense plot wise, but is dense like symbol and theme and emotive wise, it's that. And it's a good tragic story. Yeah.
I will only add that I had the aesthetic too. It's a big swing. Like it's certainly an adaptation of this book and one that is very different to anything that's come before. And some of the characterization I was really taken by. So we'll talk about Nellie in a minute. There's some things sort of spoilery bits with her, and the way she's conflicted and how I think she's probably one of the best performances in this. But like on the lowdown, like you don't really think about it. Yeah, really good, really interesting. What are your worsts?
There's just some elements to this where there are making a lot of bad decisions, but I think that's part of the theme. I think that's part of the theme. Like I actually don't have like a really big critique for like what I didn't like about the movie or what I would do differently. I think it was very intentionally what it was.
Intentional is a great word for this film.
Yeah. Like there's some, I guess like a nitpick is like what, there's a couple characters where you're like, why were you really there?
They probably had bigger roles in the book, but
yeah, the guy that was like another helping hand that dealt with the pigs or something, and she oversees them having sex at some point.
I think that's her sexual awakening.
Yeah, that's what it signals. That's what it signals. But he's not in it enough for it to be like kind of more
BDSM in there as well.
Yes, a little bit with the pig harness or whatever.
Or the horse hunt. I don't know what it is. Yeah. No, fair. You're absolutely right. I just had like. It's just so fucking sad all the time. Like there's so much film. Fucking crying and just people just been man, it's just it got overwhelming at points. I did say as well, it is just awful. People have been awful people at the same time. Sad and awful, 2 things I'm really, really want to spend 2.5 hours watching. And the last one is, and I sort of say this a decent amount about films, but like it's not for me, which is totally fine, and I'm not saying it should be, but like in saying that, it's just not for absolutely everyone. Like, not everyone is going to enjoy this as much as, you know, yourself, or, you know, won't get the things out of it that I got out of it. If you just want to go and watch a rom-com, this is not that, unfortunately, for you.
But like,
it is not.
I think like your partner might still like it. Like if she like my wife liked this movie, and that would be more her style movie traditionally, and she still enjoyed it. So
good. I mean, that's great. If she enjoyed seeing Margot Robbie getting, you know, putting her just used fingers in Jacob Elordi's mouth, good for them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did say like, well, she got everything she deserved though. Like that, she was pretty firm on the Margot Robbie, you know, got what was coming to her camp. So
there you go. Good. Well, we'll talk about that in just a second. Interestingly, then, can you guess me the IMDb score? I think these scores are representative of how the sort of general audience feedback has been.
It's a pretty divisive film, I've heard. Like people either love it or hate it. So I'd probably put it at like a 7, maybe even lower.
It's a 6.3.
That's pretty tough.
It's pretty brutal. I tell you what, can you guess me the Rotten Tomatoes score?
Critics will love it. 80. It's probably too high. What is it?
Keep going down.
70.
It's 58. Yeah.
Really? The mixed one or critic or both?
Both. The overall. Yeah, the overall score.
That's interesting.
I'm surprised. I think a lot of it's got like the critics seem to think it's a big swing, but don't love it. As far as I honestly, like I don't really read or listen to critics much. Like I just go by what I think I'm gonna like.
I would have thought they would have loved it.
I would have thought so too. It's very artistically created, etc., etc. What do you think the letterbox scores, which is always 3.6 and never 3.6?
Well, at this point, I'm like, is it 2.8 now? I'm like, Jesus. 2.8. Yeah.
2.8. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's bang on 2.8, which is crazy. I you know what I think it is? I think Wuthering Heights has this place in people, like the way like the Lord of the Rings would have for like a you or me. You know, like it is this aspirational. It is this the book, and I think this just isn't what people remember it being, and I wonder if they marked it right down for that, which is interesting. Finally, then I got to ask you the question.
It's done well though.
Yeah, it's financially it's doing all right. Like it's not doing bad at all. But I got to know from you then: is this we do our rating system? Is this better or worse than the most average movie we know, which is Aquaman 2018? DL.
Yeah, I got to say it's better. It's got to be better. I mean, we're watching a lot of good movies lately. They're all better.
We haven't had many worse for a little while, have we? If we'd have talked about Tron Ares, I think we might have had a different conversation. Yeah, I agree. It's better. Like the word you used was it's intentional. Something that Aquaman wasn't. It was just a bit of a mess, wasn't it? I liked it. Ultimately, it was a good film. What do you got for spoilers then? Spoiler time, everybody! Big time spoiler time.
There's so many spoilers because this is the kind of movie where you really don't want to reveal stuff too early because there's not a lot of plot.
For a long film.
Essentially, Heathcliff and her fall in love, and they both kind of know it. And
there's a misunderstanding.
There's this new lord that comes to town, right? And so everyone's pressuring her to like, maybe he'll come visit us, and maybe I'll be able to, marry in. And he was quite wealthy. He's a new merchant guy.
He's very wealthy.
Wealthy. He's new money.
I'm having a stroke.
A stroke.
Did he make his money in cotton or something?
It's like textiles or something. I don't fucking know.
That's right. Textile. I mean, very northern of him. Very northern of him. Good lad.
So she like finds a way to go get in front of him, and he's smitten. And so there's this tension because Heathcliff's obviously in love. She's obviously in love with him. And at one point, Heathcliff overhears our main character, Catherine, basically having a conversation with Nellie about her doubts about the proposal because she's been proposed to, and that she's in love with Heathcliff, and her soul's telling her to do something different. And Nellie is kind of tied to this family. She's also kind of like a bastard child, or apparently of a noble one, so she's tied to their outcome.
Yeah.
And is advising her like, you know what you have to do. And there's this one moment of weakness where Kathy says like, basically society, like it would belittle me to marry Heathcliff. And Nellie knows that he's but I love him. Nellie knows that he's listening at the door because she sees him come, and she basically cows Kathy into just the decision that she wants her to make, which is to break his heart. And then he leaves after she says, "But I love him and I don't want to." And so he never hears that. He leaves
before she.
Sorry, he leaves before. Sorry, he never hears that. He leaves. Tragic.
They don't all the horribleness.
Yeah, which kicks off the horror. He leaves. He's gone without a trace. She gets married to this guy. The next day, she's like, I made a terrible decision. She's waiting for him. Instantly regrets it, but he's gone. And essentially gets pregnant, moves there, and then years later, with their little stepdaughter, or is it his stepdaughter? The main guy.
It's his
cousin, whatever that means.
What I know what a ward is in sort of Game of Thronesian terms, but like in this era, like.
Yeah, the guy she marries in with has a ward, and she's this young, kind of nerdy,
psycho,
a bit annoying, kind of.
Dude, she's a full psycho. She's making hair dolls out of her.
Yeah, she's weird. She's
that shit's
hair
weird.
Dolls. Yeah, she's a classic weird Victorian character. Anyway,
it's really well played. It's that, so rich with nothing to do, so she's just weird and doing odd stuff. Like,
because
what else? Genuinely really well played. Yeah. Fuck would you do? You'd be hunting or some shit. But women back then couldn't do that. So yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, and to be for a time they are happy, right? Like you could tell. Yeah, you could tell that Kathy's she's going through it. But then eventually, when she gets pregnant and he's excited and she's pregnant, you see her face, like she's happy.
There's always something in the back of her mind, though, isn't there, DL?
Well, yeah. Well, I was on the verge of
it's that giant dong.
Yeah, they made a good pitch for me to be like, if he didn't come back, would she have been happy? And part of me was like, maybe she would have at that moment. And then he comes back.
I think she would have been happy enough.
Yes.
I don't think she would have been like happy. And I think that's a fantastic point to like kick off from. And one thing that frustrates the shit out of me in this film and many films is one of my other favorite podcasts uses the point that this could have all been sorted with a post-it note. You know what I mean? Literally. And I get it. They kind of get around it. Like Heathcliff tries to send her messages that Nellie burns. The awfulness just really kicks off from the minute he gets back. Like they start this disgusting relationship. They start like basically cheating on him, and he's like, Edgar's the nicest dude in the world. Like, what the fuck, dude? Why were you doing this? It's Clem Fandango.
Yeah. It's pretty sad for that guy. Yeah.
The film culminates. With Kathy dying. We're going to get there in a second. Heathcliff, right? He hears this somehow on the wind or from a fucking eagle. I don't know. He rides as fast as he can to get to Kathy. But first and foremost, my question to my partner when we said in the cinema was like, "The fuck is he doing? Like, does he think he's gonna fuck her back to death? Like, what's happening here?" And then
he's deeply in love with her.
He goes into the house where he's been banging some dude's wife.
Yeah.
Who asked him not to go in to his house, and then just stays with the dead wife for a long time. You're that dude. You're like, get the fuck out of my house. What are you doing here? Like, get out immediately. Like,
I think he's too. No, I think he's too empathetic. Like,
maybe.
I don't even know if he's intimidated. I think he's too empathetic. Like, I think he knows they did have this like kind of crazy love, and that he, in that moment, realizes he, despite everything, it was his job to protect her, and he didn't. And I think there's an element of that. And I think he is too empathetic. Like he can't stop the guy from seeing like the pain in the guy's face. I think he's just high empo.
Sure. I mean, this is why it's great to talk about Nellie for a minute, because I think she had one of the best acting performances in the whole film. And we came out, and my partner sort of said, she sort of said, like, what was Nellie's deal? Like, why was she being such a bitch to Kathy all the time? And, it's a very layered character in many ways. And I think it's the one that I thought about the most, weirdly. Like, I didn't really, like the Kathy and Heathcliff thing. I was like, yeah, right, they're both horny. Who cares? Edgar was just a bit of a wet puss. I was like, cool, like whatever. Whereas Nellie has this really weird dynamic in that she is technically the daughter of a rich lord, but is a bastard child, like you say. And she was, I think she's a ward as well, right? I think she was effectively sent off to be the friend of Kathy so she could live a good life.
She doesn't have a lot of agency, right? Other than what she uses. Yeah.
And the thing I think is most interesting about that character is the question I had all the way through the film is like, how much of her motivation is pure and how much of it is jealousy, in that this woman who is just flawlessly beautiful literally falls into the arms of a rich aristocrat, gets absolutely everything she should have had if she just wasn't a bastard. Like, this is the life she woulda, coulda, shoulda lived. And like, I personally liked to think of it as that she was trying to do the best for Kathy, and Kathy just couldn't see past whatever the jealousy she realized was there. But it was so, like I said, so much, like, so interesting, like a really awesome performance. And for very few words, she didn't say a lot either.
No, a lot of facial expressions.
A lot of facial expressions. I mean, that's what got me.
I think it's a beautiful foil to Kathy. Like, it's really good
totally.
character construction, because it's a really good foil, and you see even her at the end. Like, to your point, like, you got that feeling she didn't know herself, which is why she left. When in that moment she said, "You didn't mean it," and she's like, "I honestly don't know if I can say that." Like how much of it was me being angry with your decisions because I wished I could have what you have, and how much of it was me doing what is right for you. And knowing the trauma that she went through with this Heathcliff. She had the full story. So she had full information.
And that's why it's a really hard character to pick. Yeah. Really hard to pick. Like, and really well acted. I had a great time. I was more interested in picking her story or her motivations than, what was going on with the two idiots who were just morosely grim in the middle of the story. Talk to me then a little bit about, Kathy's eventual demise.
Kathy's demise. Look, I mean, it's like the whole movie, stylistic and, and tragic. She basically gets, is it sepsis or something? Because there's a miscarriage that she has she's basically said in passing to Nellie, saying, "Hey, the baby that died months ago." But she was thought she was in such a depressive state because Heathcliff has abandoned her, and we're skipping a major thing, married the daughter out of spite, and basically to create this weird BDSM kind of style thing going on the ward, just to spite Kathy.
We don't need to talk about that. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much for my brain.
Point being, it was like kind of him being really, really nasty and revengeful, and that and Nellie continuing to burn his letters even after that when he's trying to kind of make amends. And that basically puts her into a miscarriage state, which she ignores as her servant, which is her job, and eventually leads to the death of Kathy. And there's some crazy cool scenes with leeches crawling everywhere. It was a really stylistic,
really interestingly shot,
dreamlike, and the ending was dreamlike, where there was flashes to the children and all that kind of stuff.
So that's really interesting. And I talked about the book, and this not finishing at the same time. The really interesting bit about the book is that it continues from there. So Kathy has a child, Heathcliff and Isabella have a child, and it is about Heathcliff's continued hatred. Effectively, he becomes really mean to the kids. He can't accept his own kid. He can't accept the kid of someone who he was madly passionately in love with, and the story continues from there. I don't think that makes for a better movie having that in there. I think where it ends,
I think it's a good cut.
Yeah, same. I don't know why people are so upset about it. I'm like, it's thematically the perfect ending point. It's what you were talking about. It's this distressed love that maybe can't continue or can't exist. It's really interesting. It's interesting.
A dead
and
horse
sad.
To go farther, I think.
Yeah, really, you really are. I mean, for me, it is kind of the ideal place to end the film and end the discussion. DL, do you want some quick trivia, true or false?
I do.
Okay. Trivia, true, trivia, false about Wuthering Heights. Kathy's bedroom at Thurcross Grange, we can say it, we've tried, features wall panels patterned by photographs of Margot Robbie's actual skin. Is that true or false?
True. Why not?
It is true. Production designer Susie Davis and team manipulated the images to emphasize the veins and adjusting latex-like tones for printing them on padded panels. Very strange. Interesting, though. Not gonna lie. Trivia false DL. The goldfish that I actually do not remember, seen swimming in the transparent urns, were used only for a single day of filming. They required their own call sheet and were carefully controlled in temperatures before eventually being replaced by mechanical doubles. Is that true or is that false?
Seems too specific to not be true.
It is true. It's so fucking weird. Like, what on earth? You do all this shit and then you just cut them out anyway. Okay, trivia false deal. The hair doll, fictionally created by Isabella out of Kathy's hair, was in fact made of real human hair, just not Margot Robbie's.
False.
It is false. I made that one up. I can't believe you got that one. It was a weird little quirk of that character. She was very
odd. There's a scene where she murders everyone in the dollhouse when she's so pissed. That was crazy. Anyway,
nearly brought that up before. Like, she is full psycho. Okay, final trivia, true trivia, false deal. Kathy's swing at Thurcross Grange was inspired by the Rococo painting, "The Happy Accidents of the Swing" by Jean-Honoré Fragonard.
Sure, true.
Did my best. It's true. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I've never seen that picture. I think it's the really famous, like the genuinely just like everybody's seen that swing picture. I think it's that painting, which everybody definitely knows. I've said the really famous swing painting.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like, I think it's great that sometimes we disagree in ways on movies because I just like, like it just wasn't for me, and that's absolutely fine. And it's great that you loved it. Whereas last time when we talked about our other films, I fucking loved Marty Supreme. It was just a good film, and it's good that we have that. And thus we wrap up our trilogy on uncomfortable watch films. DL, how do you feel?
I feel good because I'm done with this trilogy. We'll watch something uplifting. Maybe
we can watch something uplifting next time. Let's talk about Scrubs next time.
Yeah, why not?
DL, do you want to wrap up the show?
Yeah, big thank you to Ava. Thank you for kind of doing all the editing and mastering. You can find us on all the things, the podcast assemble at gmail.com, podcast assemble on Instagram, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Give us a review.
You can find Ava.
The pod.
Yeah, you can find Ava at avaramshaw.com, and that's www. in case you couldn't guess that immediately.
Yeah.
Check out her podcasting services. She's fantastic. All this is because of her. We are not that pretty. Well, I am that pretty. I'm not sure about you. But yeah, pass the pod. We love it if you do. DL. Tally ho, baby.
Tally ho. Until next time. Later, skaters.